student athletes, Jalen, Penn, and Chris Wildborn. Feel free to ask me.
Gavin Carlson, Daily Bruin. I think you guys fell down 7-0 there earlier in the game. Coach called a timeout and seemed to get pretty animated in the huddle. Can you guys just talk a little bit about what happened in that huddle and how that helped you guys turn things around?
Yeah, basically we just, she called us out on being selfish on offense because we weren't moving, weren't really giving energy, taking tough shots late in the shot clock, but at the same time our defense was lacking too. So altogether she challenged us to step up as a team. That's not how we start as UCLA, and to take pride in that, starting good.
Yeah, I think we just needed to come out with more energy, and like Jalen said, Coach Corey challenged us on that. I think we responded.
Right, and then for Charisma, obviously you're still a little banged up with your knee, coming off two, I think, of your lowest scoring games of the season, and then you just kind of exploded tonight, especially in the second quarter. Just talk about your confidence and how you're able to sort of get things going again.
Yeah, I think today I was talking to one of my other teammates, and I was just thinking about seeing how I could be the best leader and give the most energy, and I think everything else just came after that. So that was just one of my focuses for the game.
And then for Jay Penn, it seems like you always find a way to make a shot whenever your team needs one. You had a couple sort of timely threes, but like Coach said on Friday, it's always the way you come back on defense and go right back on to guarding the best scorer on the other team. So talk about your ability to sort of try and handle Ledger Walker tonight, and obviously everything she brings.
Yeah, I would say at first I struggled a little bit, just seeing both the ball and how she cuts and taking away her strengths as a player, but you know, we talked as a team. Coach challenged me on the sideline. My teammates challenged me and told me, like, if you want to win this game, we got to play one-on-one, guard the ball. And yeah, that was the game. Basically, was defending one-on-one.
Thank you.
You guys have had pretty good defense all season long, but you guys really seem to suffocate Washington State in the second and third quarter, forced 19 turnovers. You guys didn't even allow them to score in the last 2 minutes. You know, what can you talk about? What can you say about your defense? You know, obviously all season long, but you know what you did here to try to secure the win.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot about our defense and just having pride in playing defense. And I think today, Jalen and I, we try to set the standard for that for the rest of the team. And Coach Corey has said that we can be the best backcourt defenders in the country. So I think we've really been trying to do that and work together. And I think everyone else is coming along.
What can you say about the cohesiveness, especially with someone like Dominique and Chantel, who didn't score much, but was pretty effective moving the ball and helping everybody else to get some points?
Yeah, Dom and Chantel are super important to this team. Chantel brings that energy, that fight. She has that experience in the leader, so we count on her a lot. Dom, we're just trying to get her to come along, and you know, her role is valuable. We keep telling her that every day, like, you play hard, you make the right reads, you know, you have great minutes. That's what we need from you. So definitely, both of them had an exceptional game today, and their what's the word?
Valuable.
Yeah, it's valuable, very valuable to the team.
Yeah, and I think they're just really buying into their roles. Like, just because they don't start doesn't mean that they're not valuable. And when they come in, they're always bringing a huge spark for us, and that's super important.
Thank you.
Anything else for questions? All right, appreciate it. We'll go ahead, Coach Corey close. Just welcome to provide opening statement. Questions?
I think we have one on the Zoom, and Mike's here. You know, just to continue on something that the players were just talking about, people playing their roles. You know, Kayla Owens had 21 passion plays. Our goal is to get 70 passion plays. Those are non-statistical categories that don't show up in a stat sheet, but help you win possessions. And she had 21. Our goal is 70 per game. And that's just a huge deal. And the way that translates is she was plus 18 on her plus minus. The next closest one was 13. And, you know, you need people, and I would say the same about Chantal Horvat, that they just come in and say, okay, what do I need to do to help us win more possessions? That I'll play whatever role's needed because helping the team win more possessions is more important than anything else. And that takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of selflessness, and I think that was the difference in the game. Having players like that, I would say it's the difference in the weekend. You know, on Friday night, it was Dominique, I thought, was really a huge spark that way. There were a lot of them were, but I think the reality is that speaks to the character of what is most important, and that gives me a lot of hope of what we can continue to grow into, because it's not about, I don't have to coach selfishness or I don't like that role. It's my role, I don't care, I want to win. And I'm really, really pleased with that. So I have so much respect. I think Cammie does an excellent job. I think she's an elite coach. I think her team is so disciplined on both ends of the floor. And, you know, I think so this win means a lot because of that. They're an NCAA tournament team. You know, I just think that this was a really important one for us, and our discipline kicked in. I told our team, though, you know, you got to take responsibility. Those first 3 minutes, you got to control your focus, your energy, your effort, concentration. We call it the ACE, attitude, concentration, effort, and we didn't do that in the first few minutes. And I think, Gavin, you talked about that, but I was very animated because every time I get to walk down that hallway onto this court, I take that very seriously. Every time I put the 4 letters on to represent something bigger than myself, we take this very seriously. And we didn't honor that the first 4 minutes. And we got to take responsibility for that. It's not about missing shots. It's about playing the way we need to play, with toughness, togetherness, focus, executing the scouting report, and we didn't do that. And on the other side of that coin, really proud of their response. Proud that they were able to make some really key decisions to turn that attitude around. So really important win for us today, and you know, but continuing to make growth steps forward, and I thought we saw a lot of those.
Coach, the last 2 games you've started slow, and you addressed that after the game. But you know, what can you? Obviously, you don't want that. But what can you say about how they can, you know, start putting basket, you know, the ball in the basket?
Put the ball in the basket. You know, it's interesting because, you know, I always draw something up, you know, for the first time that they've never seen. And we get great shots every time. And we find ways to get the tip, get the first possession, I would say 80% of the time. And we did it perfect. We got 2 really good shots on the first possession. And it was almost like after we didn't make those, it was like, oh. And we didn't let it fuel like, oh, good shot, that's all right. And so, you know, I really think I need to go back, honestly, and watch probably the first 3 minutes of Friday night, first 3 minutes of tonight, and be like, okay, what are the themes here? What are some things from a coach's perspective that maybe in the heat of it I didn't notice, but some things, some trends or themes that we can address in practice moving forward, because it is really important. Starts are tough, and you know, put you in positions to have to do some things maybe that you didn't tactically want to, or maybe press to get things going or whatever else. I don't think that's our advantage over the course of a whole game. So I'm not sure I have a really honest answer for you yet, but I think it is something we need to go back and study and see if there's some themes that we can address.
Obviously, you know, as it was talked about, you were pretty vocal in that first few minutes, but as the game went on, did you see any of the players start to push each other and start to tell each other, you know, this is what we got to do? You
know, when we were in the hallway before we went and talked to the team, and it's interesting because this the person that we've really been talking to that set a standard was in the building tonight, Lindsay Cosaro from last year. Maybe one of the best leaders we've had since I've been here. And actually in my meetings with Charisma, my film sessions, we've been talking a lot about how important leadership was and how it enabled her when Lindsay was here to be her best, and how she needs to learn from that and take that and empower other people to be their best. And I thought Charisma Osborne was the difference. She's the one that started talking to everybody else, pulling them into the huddle, talking about, hey, what are you seeing out there? Charisma and my communication is really important. And just to be candid, it hasn't always been easy. Her and I have had to work through that. And we're really working through that. And I thought we had good communication today. And so I really give that credit to Charisma. That response was stemmed and started from her leadership. She was steady. She didn't get too high. She didn't get too low. Didn't give her energy away to the wrong things. And we actually talked about it in the locker room, and Charisma said to Lindsay Cosaro, Lindsay, we've been talking about you, and I'll apologize to you later that I didn't appreciate your leadership enough, because now she understands how hard that role really is. But Charisma really was the one who provided that probably most vocal leadership. And then I would also say Chantel. People don't understand how vocal she is and how much our team looks to her. When I came in at halftime to make game adjustments, she was talking to the team. This is what we got to do. This is what needs to happen. And I don't think people understand how powerful Chantel's voice is on this team.
Last question. How's Izzy? She didn't play today.
Yeah, Izzy, with all these HIPAA laws, I just have limited what I can say. But she had a response that, not a long-term thing. We're hoping to maybe get her back this week, but doctors wouldn't let us play her these last 2 games. But it's not a long-term issue. We're hoping to get her back, and we just needed to make sure we put health and safety first in this particular week, and she's we're really looking forward to getting her back. It was hard. She played her best game of her career up there, 13 rebounds. I thought was such a good defender and rebounder. I think she's really getting into her confidence. And her mom is here from Australia and all these things, but she's, we're hoping to get her back this week.
Thank you.
Hi, Coach. This game looked very similar in some ways to the game on Friday night. I remember you guys had an almost perfect fourth quarter to help seal the game Friday, and it looked pretty similar tonight. I think you forced 7 turnovers in that fourth quarter, and I remember earlier in the year you said the issue was sustaining that success for a whole game, and that seems to be your strength now. What's changed?
Yeah. Well, I think, some of it is just teachable moments over a long period of time, right? And just really challenging them to be, from every experience, painful, exciting, doesn't matter. What does it teach us? And I think, with 8 new players this year that were not on our roster, I think about just Kayla Owens. She hasn't hardly played here when she was here. Then she takes a whole year off. And then look at what she did today. I think it just takes time to layer some of those teachable moments together. And I think every team's got to choose a mental toughness that you don't allow things into your mind that are going to take away from the energy and focus it takes to win that possession, whether it be injury, bad call, missed shots. And I think we fell to that a little bit in the first part of the year. It's hard to grow when you're a bit distracted. And I think the only thing that our team needs to think about is, how can I grow, how can I give? And when I think we're starting to get that, and they're taking pride in that. Like KO said to me right before I came to media, she's like, Coach, I had 21 passion plays. I didn't even know it yet. And she was so proud of that. And she should be. That's a huge growth area. So I still don't think we're as consistent as we need to be. Really, it's every little thing. How we shoot around, how we fuel, what our nutrition is, how we are coachable, how we look each other in the eye, how we communicate. At the top of every single practice plan, it says championship process. Is this habit right now leading me to where I want to go? And I just don't think any of those things happen quickly. I'm actually wearing my NIT ring from 2015. I've been wearing it all year because I learned really early on that this was not going to be a quick fix kind of year. This was going to be a stay the course, plant the right seeds, water the right seeds, be steady. And I haven't always done that great as a leader, if I'm being honest. But I think that's got to be my commitment, because I think what we're seeing is it's not big things, it's small teachable moment things, staying the course over a long period of time, and just growing in our togetherness and our toughness.
Right, and then you talked about on Friday it was Van Dyke, and then tonight it's the 2 twins, obviously. I think it was Charisma who mentioned how you always try to talk them up as being this defensive backcourt, and what do you think of their performance tonight?
Right, I think it was tremendous, and especially given some of the challenges that Riz has been facing. She hasn't practiced in over a week, and and I don't know if any of you follow her on social media. She's been constantly giving props to our medical team, and they have worked so hard for her, and I second that. But I just think they're really growing in their pride in that area, and I don't think they're even close to how good they can be. J Penn, I've really been challenging her on how much she hops, and she talked about losing vision. But at the same time, when the game's on the line, they're very hard. Very hard to get downhill on, very hard to post up. I really do believe that. I'm not just blowing smoke. I think they really could grow into being the best defensive backcourt in the country, and they're not there yet, but you're seeing glimpses out there. You're seeing glimpses.
And then finally, second straight game of just 7 players. Obviously, somehow this team just finds a way to win games. It was the same thing last year, shorthanded, found a way to win. And I know on Friday I asked about that win being a turning point in the season, but now that it's a perfect weekend despite the circumstances, just how big is this win for your whole season?
Well, I just challenged our team to not talk about our roster, so I'm not going to. The reality is I want every ounce of our energy and focus to be on how can I help this team. And that includes the people that can't play, that includes the people that aren't playing. It is what it is, we'll find a way. And I don't even want to acknowledge it. I just want to pour in to, as a leader, what does this day require of me to be the best leader I can be? And I expect that from every player on our roster. What does this day require of me to be the best teammate I can be, so that we can give and grow together? And so that's what I'm trying to do. And so whatever we got, we're gonna find a way, because we're gonna give everything to each other to make it happen.
Congrats, thanks, Coach.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you guys for being here. Jesus, thank you for being here. I know I always say this, but the reason it's so important to me is that I cannot tell you how much sacrifice has gone into these kids being able to compete over the last 2 years. And there's no amount of time, no amount of names I could mention that would give them enough credit. And I really always want to make sure I have the opportunity to say thank you, and that we see you and we appreciate you. And that's really important to me. And that includes everybody that's here telling their stories, as I always remind you guys of. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on Thursday.